That's a wide body beat. That's a wide body beat.
All right, can y'all hear me now? How about now? Can y'all hear me now? Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. I don't know. My usual microphone setup is not working right here. So if y'all hear the little creaks and howls of everything going on in the office here, I apologize. All right, but so let me start over again. What's good, Panther Nation? Welcome back to Carolina's Armchair GM. I am your host, CJ. All right, and as I was trying to say, but y'all couldn't hear me. Are we ready for week one? Okay, I am ready for week one. This has been a long off season, and I mean extremely long. No training camp, nothing to kind of, buy the time over a little bit. Nothing like that. Not as bad of a season as it was in 2023, but still not what we wanted, especially how we started the season off last year. And yeah, this has just been a long off season, a very, very, very long off season, and I am glad. I am so glad that Panthers football is back on Sunday. All right, and that's kind of why I'm going live at 6:30 because there is a game tonight down in Brazil between the Chiefs and the Chargers. All right, so I'm trying to get on here, give my little spiel to everybody, and get everybody out of here in time to go enjoy the game. Okay. But first, before I get started, I want to say thank you to everybody for joining. All right. And on your way in, if you would be so kind, whatever platform you are watching on, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, follow. All right. And I thank you for all the love and support. Okay. Now, what I do want to start off with, a little bit of bad news. Okay. If y'all saw my last live, I mentioned about my good buddy Rodney. We called him Jug, and he was in the hospital that day, and about maybe an hour or so after I got off the live, I got a call that he passed away. Okay, so I just want to put this up here. This is my good buddy Jug. Okay, Rodney Virgil Sparrow. And the crazy thing is, I did not realize, I never knew what his middle name was until I saw his until I saw his obituary online. And yeah, I just want to, for those of y'all that know the word of prayer, man, say a prayer for the Sparrow family. Like I said, this right here was my guy. This was my dude right here. He helped my dad out, working. He helped my dad out farming, and he was just always funny. He was the life of the party. I always be appreciative to him because, and I say this, and any of my family watching, y'all know this is true. He could put up with my dad like nobody else. Okay. And my dad just has this, and a lot of people's dad, they just have this way about him. You know what I mean? My dad loves to talk junk, but don't like nobody to pick back at him, but don't like anybody to say anything at him. And when I say my good buddy Jug here could just, ignore my dad with the best of them, and he always made everything. Anytime you were around him, it was fun. Okay, everything was fun. He had a laugh that cannot be replicated. I mean, absolutely cannot be replicated by anyone, anywhere, anyhow. And he, like I said, he was just the life of the party. Everywhere we were at, it was a good time. And he was just he was so helpful. If my mom needed something, he'd help. He lived across the street from us. Like I said, my dad needed something, he'd help. Hell, if I needed something, he'd always help me as much as he could. And so I was just sitting there thinking about it the other day, and this guy right here on the screen is probably my first best friend, even though he's 20 something years older than me, but he's probably the first like true best friend I ever had. It was a lot of summers of pouring concrete and farming, and a lot of long days and evenings, and this guy right here made it fun. So I just want to say, Jug, I love you, buddy. I'm gonna miss you. We all gonna miss you, and I just pray that you up there in heaven, shining down on us, and keep laughing, my friend. That's all I can say. Keep laughing, buddy. We'll see you again one day. All right. So, again, this is my good buddy Jug. All right. Rest in peace, homie. All right. So, like I said, I wanted to, go ahead and pay my respects to my friend, and start the live off with that, because like I said, he was very special to me, and I'm truly gonna miss him. All right. But so let's go ahead and get back into some Panther football, and let's go ahead and get into some comments first, y'all. Okay. So, first off, let me start the Flame for Jesus, man. Thank you for the 20 gifted memberships. I greatly appreciate you, as always, my friend. As always, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Again, one of these days, hey man, my email, okay, hit me up at thearmchairgmcj.com, okay. And if you want to, let me get your address, and I gotta send you something, okay. I gotta send you something. All right, let me know if that's cool with you. I'll get you a Panther chain or one of these little Thor hammers or something, my friend. You've been real good to me, and I appreciate you, Flame. And again, and thank you for the $5 super chat. So you on my prayers, CJ. I hope you have a blessed evening. Prayers for everyone. Thank you, Flame. I greatly appreciate you, my friend. Greatly appreciate you. All right. So let me scroll back up here. I don't want to miss anybody's comments. My dear wife Nella says she is excited, ready for the season to get started, as we all are. Mr. Hunky Dory, what's going on with you? Said, got no feelings, got no ideas, but just no business. Gots to be taken care of. I love the way you put that. Gots, Gots, gots to be taken care of. I love it. Thank you, Mr. Hunky Dory. Okay, SC Pace, what's good with you? And I see a lot of y'all saying no audio, so I appreciate y'all letting me know that. Let me see. SC Panthers boy was going on. Said, what's up, Curtis Payne Jr.? Yes, sir. Hey, how you doing? All right, and everybody. Okay, I got you. All right, what's going on, Kenny S? How you doing, man? SC Panthers boy, thank you. I appreciate it. B. Amos said, rest in peace, Mr. Rodney. Thank you. What's going on, Dig It? Said, thoughts out to the Sparrow family and friends. Appreciate you. Kenny is telling Flame for Jesus, thank you. Appreciate you again, Flame for Jesus. Making true money. What's going on, man? How you doing? It's CJ, my guy. LOL. Hey, what's going on with you, dog? Nader, RIP. Thank you, Nader. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. So I want to say to all of the members of the front office, thank you, thank you, thank you. There are a lot of you now, and it's a whole lot to be putting on a few slides here. So I just put a big thank you up here. I still got some things in the works, and I'm going to put it up on the channel here probably in the next few days. Okay, so I got some things in the works, got some really good things in the works for the members. So just stay tuned. But again, to all the front office members, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate you. Okay. All right. Now, y'all have seen this next slide for quite some time. And I'm just happy to say that with everybody who joined after the last live, all right, I wish I had some of that intro music, like something. Fantasy football is here, everybody. All right. So we got 10 teams in the front office fantasy football league. Okay, up there at the top left, that is me for the 910. Okay, if y'all know what the 910 is or where that is, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, we got One of One. All right, Low Country, House Nicholas, FPFO Dylan, Famous. Okay, we got Panther Dog Stompers, Bryce is Right, BBL Giver. All right, I laugh every time I see that name, BBL Giver. And we have the Pound Town Power Rangers. Okay, and that is Nakari with his crazy self. He is the Pound Town Power Rangers. Yo, but thank y'all, everybody who signed up. Had a really good draft. Everybody was there. I think except for maybe two people. But it was a good draft, a lot of good commentary in the chat, and yeah, so hopefully a good season. You know, hopefully I kick everybody's butt, but if I don't, congratulations to whoever wins. All right. So like I said, fantasy football is back. All right, and thank you for everybody who joined. And what I'm going to do here tonight, let me see. I am going to put the link, okay, in the chat. All right. If anybody wants to come up here and chop it up with me tonight, you are free to do so. Okay. A few more comments here. Thank you again, Flame. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Kevin Hubbard, what's going on? Ready for some football? Panthers Nation, baby. Hey, yes, sir. Big facts. Hey, Commander 336. Let me tell you, I promise you, I always have to catch myself every time I see your name because I keep wanting to call you 336 Boston. But what's going on with you, man? How you doing? Flame said, I've been ready for some Panther football. That was a good game last night. Man, let me tell you, I left out of here during the rain delay and went back in the house and fell asleep and missed some of the third quarter. Woke back up, watched a few plays, fell asleep again. And then I caught all the end of it. And yeah, that was a damn good game. Damn good game. But yeah, man. He said, I'll change it back after the season. Okay, I got you. Look, don't do it for me, dog. You could. All right. But okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Injury report. All right. Okay, so we got one person that has been ruled out so far, and that's Mathis. He was recently picked up off of waivers, okay, and he tore his ACL on Wednesday, the first day of practice, and they just announced that news today, okay. So Ashawn Robinson, Damian Lewis, and Robert Hunt were all on the injury report yesterday. They're all off the injury report. They were limited in practice today. Okay, but they all have clearance, so they should be good to go on Sunday. All right, and the big one is our left tackle, Big Icky. Okay, he had an appendectomy, had his appendix removed, and he has been practicing on the sidelines, all week long. Now, Dave Canales did say they were going to kind of monitor and decide on Icky all the way up until game time. Okay, but the fact that he is doubtful. In my lifetime, I haven't heard of too many people who were designated as doubtful for a game and ended up playing. So, my thing is, if he is out, if he's doubtful and they put him up here like this, go ahead and keep the man out, and hopefully he'll be ready, like ready to go full week of practice next week and ready to go for week 2. Okay, but that's all we got on far as the injury report. Now, what I do hope is that I told somebody this at work earlier today, and I said I hope they don't do. No, I'm sorry. I told somebody this at the barbershop earlier today, and I said I hope they don't give whoever is Icky's replacement because they still haven't decided. Okay, they still haven't announced whether it's going to be Brady Christensen or Josh Nijman that's going to take his spot. But whoever it is, I hope they don't get the Mike Rimmer effect from Super Bowl 50. Okay, you're gonna have Josh Hines Allen on that side, if I'm not mistaken, opposing the left tackle. So I hope down the distance, they'll get a running back, tight end, somebody to go over there and get that man, whoever it is, just a little bit of help if needed. Now, mind you, they get out there the entire game and just shut them down. Hey, I'm great with that. But if they see whoever that is struggling a little bit over there, one thing I really wish for this season is, adjustments. Okay? Especially on the defensive side of the ball. But on the offensive side of the ball, too, I don't want them to feel like, whoever's in it, we're just going to throw them out there and they got it. Like, nah, if you see him struggling, hey, help him out. Adjust somehow, some way. All right. But, again, that is the injury report. I'm glad it's not as full as I had it yesterday. I had to delete, a few names off of here. And shout out to Mr. Mathis right now. I'm sorry that, your time with the Panthers this year came to an abrupt end on the first day of practice. Okay. But, hopefully next week, this injury report will be completely blank. All right. So we'll see. Let me see. Rock Jones said, what's going on? How about them Tar Heels, CJ? Let me tell you, boy, Carolina got their ass whooped. Oh, my God. Oh, my. Hey, I was in here all hyped up. Carolina drove down the field. What's my man name? I forgot the quarterback's name. Was it Lopez or something? And I'm like, I bet. You got Hood back there running the ball. We go straight down the field. And let me tell you, folks, that's about where the joy for the night for, Tar Heel Nation ended. Okay, with that touchdown. TCU proceeded to go to their grandparents' cupboard and not just open can whoop ass. They opened the mason jar that's been sitting on the shelf and had the apples and stuff in. They opened up that jar of whoop ass and completely destroyed Carolina from there on out. So yeah, that was a bad game. It was a bad game, but it's still Tar Heel Nation, baby. I'm still rooting for them, and it's crazy because I graduated from UNC Charlotte, but Carolina has been my favorite school since my sister went and graduated from there back in the '80s. Okay, so now, mind you, if Charlotte comes out and wins, hey, great. If Carolina wins, hey, great. It's kind of a win-win for me. So, but we'll see. I ain't gonna lie. I'll be rooting for both of them, to be honest with you. But I just hope it's a good game. Kenny said, I'm gonna whoop y'all ass. Said Rock Jones, are you expecting it to change in one season? Yeah. It was a lot of hype. It was a lot of hype. It was build this, build that. His girlfriend and all this, and yeah, man, let me tell you, they were talking about the score at one point, and they were like, this is how old she was, and when he was 41 or something like that. So yeah. Said Bill didn't get to recruit. I wasn't expecting much this season. Now I don't know about that Flame. Bill and them, they went out and brought in 70 new players. Now I don't know if he got to talk everybody he wanted to come into Chapel Hill to come there and play. But I think they did a fair amount of recruiting. They had a damn near a whole new roster, So let me see. What's going on? Cruiser 007 says thank you. Okay, you welcome. Keep pounding. Yep, keep pounding. Miss Hunky Door said, I got a blackout watching the Tar Heel game. You and me both. Hey, Commander said UNC will be better next year. We good. Oh, yeah. I ain't worried. And it's crazy because, his son, Steve, is defensive coordinator. This is what I think is going to happen, y'all. Okay, this is what I think is going to happen. All right, so Bill Belichick is going to coach for a few years, and hopefully things go good. I think he's going to try and pass it off to his son Steve. I don't think Bill has, not say he doesn't have, but I don't think he's going to, be out here coaching for another 10 to 15 years or something. I think he's trying to set this up, probably for his son Steve Belichick, and we'll see where it goes from there. Okay, so, but yeah, that's my thought on that. That is my thought. Appreciate you, Flame. Let me see. Said they need to go and put the backup of the backup, Bryce in for target. Hey, you know what? Brad Johnson's son. I think his name is it Max or forgot his name, but he's the backup quarterback, and he threw a touchdown pass to his brother. So if that's anything to take out of that game, hey, we'll see. Said Bill Belichick needs to get his CD. Oh God, y'all are crazy. So how about David Bakhtiari said he is ready for a 2025 season. Great left tackle, better than what we have. Okay. Well, we'll see. Let me tell you, I think they're gonna stick with Icky, and I like Icky. I do. I really think he needs to work on his pass pro a little more. Great run blocker, but I think he's definitely gotten better, year after year that he's been in Carolina. But as far as I know, all things right now are pointing to Icky probably getting a nice contract at the end of the season going into next year. So we'll see. Hold on a second. Bill is also the highest paid state employee. Yeah. Say Hills need another Charlotte QB. Man, let me tell you, yeah, they need something. They need something. I was looking at 8-4, 7-5. We didn't get much out of the portal till the second round of it. Okay, the real good players were gone then. Got you, Flame. Got you. Earl said, that game pissed me off so bad I turned it off. Said, damn, my heels look like shit. Yeah, I watched it for as long as I could. At halftime, I was like, okay, all right, y'all come on out here in the second half and get your shit together and let's make a comeback. The first offensive snap for TCU, 70-something yard touchdown. I was like, all right, folks, click. Let me go ahead and watch something else. Bill better start winning next year, or the boosters are going to run his ass off. Yep, yeah, he better start winning this year. Yeah, he better start winning bump next year. All the hype and all the stuff that's going around Carolina, for them to come out there and look like that, yeah, nah, he gonna have to turn this around like ASAP. Digger said, come on, slackers, gently tap the like button and subscribe. Appreciate you, Digger. Yes. And for those of you that are just joining, please go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, follow whatever platform you're watching on. I greatly appreciate the love and support. All right. But that has been the injury report. Okay. Ike Ekwonu is doubtful, and I keep forgetting my man's first name. He's new to the team. But Mathis, he's a cornerback. I think he was signed from Denver. He tore his ACL in the first practice on Wednesday with the Panthers. All right. Now, before I get into the game, the Panthers released their first depth chart of the season earlier this week, if I'm not mistaken, last week. And, as the gentleman right there is pointing, there are a few things on here that kind of got me, okay? And not so much on the offense as it is the defense, all right? But the one thing on the offensive depth chart here is, the wide receiver spot. So, we got Ted, David Moore, Hunter Renfrow, Xavier Legette, Delvin Campbell, Bryson Tremaine, and Jimmy Horn. It was interesting to me to see Bryson Tremaine second and Jimmy Horn third. Okay, I thought maybe you see Jimmy Horn up there behind Hunter Renfrow, in the slot, and even when we had let Hunter Renfrow go, okay, I thought he would probably slide in behind Jalen Coker before Jalen Coker got hurt. Okay, and it's just to me, and it's probably me overthinking it. We'll probably see a lot of Jimmy Horn during the season, but just the fact that they put this stuff right here on the depth chart this year, I don't know. For some reason, it just, like I said, maybe I'm thinking too much into it. Okay, but this is the offense. Other than that, everything else on here is pretty much how we thought it was going to be. Like I said, except for Hunter Renfrow. We all thought it was going to be Jalen Coker until he got hurt. Jalen Coker will be gone for like 4 to 6 weeks. They signed Hunter Renfrow, and he's going to go back out there, and he's going to start this week. So we'll see. All right, let me see. Hold on. Who playing tonight? Oh, the Chiefs and the Chargers. Okay, the Chiefs and the Chargers. They just said, what was Bill record after Tom Brady? Nothing. That is a fact. That is a cold hard fact. Yeah. Oh, and the memes of Tom Brady dressed up in a UNC uniform with the fake hair, the glasses, the names have been hilarious. But Tar Heel Nation, that's not happening. That's not happening at all. They said, Diggy said, is Evero moonlighting as the Hills DC? He might be moonlighting as the DC and the offensive coordinator. Because let me say, after that first drive, everything went to crap. Everything. Yeah. Flame said, we definitely don't need Bryce for the Tar Heels. He wouldn't be a Heisman Trophy winner with the Tar Heels, not an already made team. He needs superstars to be good. Hey, well, you know what? Hey, look, let me tell you. Bryce had a squad in Alabama, and he was out there balling. He was out there balling. You can't deny that. Hopefully we see the same thing this year, but we'll find out on Sunday. All right. Evero has a little more talent this year. The defense will improve a bit. I'm hoping so, but just like just like we waiting to see, if Bryce is going to pick it up from last year. The same thing with the defense. I gotta see it first. Gotta see it first. And I really want to see it this first game. All right. We gonna get into that in a second, Mr. Earl. We gonna get into that in a second. Said I seen Tim Brody, UNC for real. Tim Brody, I like that. All right, so that is the offense. Not too much here, but I did just want to point out Bryson Tremaine over Jimmy Horn for second and third wide receiver spot. Okay, behind Xavier Legette. All right. Okay, so again, I'm pointing here, and what I thought was weird about the defensive depth chart is A'Shawn Robinson is the starting defensive tackle, okay? And then Bobby Brown is the second string defensive end behind Turk Wharton, all right? Now, I know that they are going to be in different places on that defensive line. They're going to move around, okay? And I understand that. But I just thought it was weird, okay? And again, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I just thought it was weird that Bobby Brown ended up being the second string defensive end on the depth chart. We brought him in to play nose tackle. And the reason why I say this, at no point, and I made a short about this, at no point last year did we ever see Shy Tuttle moved off of that defensive tackle spot on the depth chart. He stayed there all season long, no matter if they moved him around on the line or what. Shy Tuttle was always defensive tackle on this depth chart. Okay, and I guess it's just me being stupid. I really wish they would take that and flip it around. Okay, not saying anything bad about A'Shawn, being a nose tackle, but we all know last year, A'Shawn was like, I came in to play defensive end. I did not come to play nose tackle. And like I said, it might have been some situations where they switched them and swapped them around on the defensive line, depending on down distance situation, what was going on. But like I said, as far as the depth chart, it didn't really change much. Okay. Now down there on the bottom, that's just me wishing that they would take Nick Scott and replace him with either one of the people that those arrows are pointing to. Okay. I just, and I think most of Panther Nation would agree. A lot of the comments I've seen on YouTube, on X, on TikTok, everywhere, I put a few reels out about, what's the biggest question mark on the defense, and I said that it was stopping, will the Panthers be able to stop the run? And a lot of people commented and were like, they felt good about the run, and like, why is Nick Scott our starting strong safety? Our starting free safety, I mean. And let me tell you, I got the same question too, but we'll see. Hold on, let me see. I said Baker Mayfield is Baker is a Tar Heel QB guys. That's the backup I was referring to. Okay, got you. I got you. B. Amos said Ashawn is solid. And I thought Ashawn probably would have made it. Should have played more at the defensive tackle spot last year. But I mean, we'll see. Me personally, I'm just hoping that this means that they are going to be able to adjust and put people in different spots. Like I said, depending on down and distance. I hope we don't have as many, 3rd and 2, 3s, as we did last year, because I was talking to my barber today, and I'm saying we playing Jacksonville, and I said I hope we stop, be able to stop the run. He was like, "Who they got?" And I was like, "They got Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby." He was like, "Man, they ain't nobody." And I was like, "Yeah," I said, "but everybody was somebody against Carolina as far as running backs last year. Everybody came against us and had the best game of their season almost as a running back. Hell, even in the losses. So we'll see. We'll see." Flame, yes, but Max needs to start this year, not Bryce Baker. Let Bryce Baker cook next year. Oh, his name. Oh, Bryce Baker. Okay, got you. I ain't gonna lie, I was slightly confused at that, but I got you now. All right. BM was said Nick starting his nasty work. But everyone say he knows the defense. I mean, don't get me started on that. All right, don't get me started. Flame said Ashawn lost weight to play defensive end. Got you. Nader, I don't know. I have no clue. Diggett says Polaroids. So Nick Scott Sarkashi shouldn't be on the team. I mean, now mind you, okay, and the thing that got me is there were a few good options out there for the Panthers to go after. Blackman for the Colts, if I'm not mistaken, their free safety, and I think they ended up signing back. It was him and the safety that played for Baltimore last year. They both were brought in on visits, and nothing came about. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, we haven't been to camp, we haven't been to practice. I we haven't seen what Nick Scott has been doing in practice. I mean, and the thing is, I haven't seen any of the news reporters or the beat writers, praising Nick Scott that much. So I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's just something that we're gonna have to deal with. Said Leggett will have a big game. Hey, I hope so. I swear I do. I hope so. All right. So that is the depth chart, and me probably overthink. I hope I'm overthinking stuff. Okay. I hope I'm not right about any of this. I really do hope I'm just overthinking it. Let me see. Said for depth purposes and special teams. I got you. Well, yeah, but still, he can be he can be depth in special teams. Let somebody else start. Yeah. Hey, what's up, that Pound Town Power Rangers? How you doing, big dog? What's up, Nakari? Nate said DJ Moore had 788-yard first season with us. Do you think T-Mac can get that? You know what? That's a good question, Nader. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna bring this one back up later, and we'll talk about that. All right. But yeah, that's a damn good question. So Evero is the problem. That's why his ass would be out of a shop by week 5. I doubt it. I think even if we have as bad a season as we have on defense, I hope not, and I don't think so. But like I say, knock on wood, just in case, they'll probably keep him the whole season. Yeah, I don't see that happening. But we'll see. We'll see. What up, Uncle Leroy? How you doing? It's a nephew Curtis Payne. I said, does Calvin Payne have a job now? LOL. Well, my Calvin is up at is in college right now, so he's in the band. So, but no, he can't work. His schedule is slam full. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. Okay, so the last meeting between the Jaguars and the Panthers was back in 2023, Bryce Young's rookie year. And as you can see by this chart, it was just an absolute disaster. Okay, C.J. Beathard was playing quarterback for the Panthers. Trevor Lawrence, was hurt. And he had a decent game. ETN had 100 yards. Let me see. Josh Hines Allen had 3 sacks. it was just a bad game. I mean, total yard. We had 124 total yards. Chuba had 45 yards rushing, and a lot of those yards went to Bryce being sacked a bunch of times. Let me see. Time of possession. We had no trips in the red zone. We were 3 of 6 on fourth down. They were 1 of 1. We were 1 for 13 on third down. 1 for 13 on third down. That is not going to get it. Okay. We had 3 penalties to their 1. They had 16 first down. We had 7. We had 1 turnover, which was a Bryce interception. And like I said, they had 317 total yards, 2 hour 124. Okay. And, only reason I bring this up is to hopefully, point out how bad of a game, that was. And it was even so bad that David Tepper, threw a drink on a fan that was talking some junk. Okay. So yeah, that game was terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I don't know if it's true or not, but I read somewhere where the Jaguars moved the visiting owners box to another part of the stadium, kind of away from the fans. So if Tepper is there, I guess he is not going to be anywhere where he can throw any drinks on any fans at all. So yeah, might be a good thing. Hopefully not. Hopefully we go out there and handle business, and Tepper does not have any reason to throw a drink on anybody. Okay. Let me see, Nate, what you got here. Since Icky's out Saturday, we should run the ball at least 25 to 30 times. What I hope happens is, the Eagles game last night. And I know most of us watched that. You saw a lot of misdirection from their offense. There was one play where they had everybody to the right side. It was like a 2 tight end setup, and when they snapped the ball, the left guard pulled to the right. Okay, everybody went right. They shifted. The defense shifted, went to the right side. Saquon Barkley took a step right, went left. Jalen Hurts took a step right, and then pitched the ball back to his left, and then went and got a first down. I hope that we can get into some creative stuff like that this entire season, with this Panthers offense. Okay, Chuba, Rico, Trevor. So I hope that we can get into some stuff with that. But we'll see. But I do want them to run the ball. Okay, but my thing is running the ball. If running the ball is working, is one thing. Okay, running the ball just to prove a point is another thing. Okay, that you run the ball to open up the passing game. Okay, but sometimes you might have to throw the ball to open up the run game. Okay, so I hope they don't get stubborn and just like, okay, we're going to continue to run the ball up the middle. We have been stuffed the last 6, 7, 8 times we have done this. Spread it out. Be unpredictable with it. You know what I mean? I don't want them to go out there and just be like, okay, we're going to establish the run, but we're going to pick 2 plays we're going to try and establish the run with. So that's my only hope. All right. Well, not my only hope, but one of my hopes. Flame Jesus said this one can be ugly, CJ. We just have to wait and see. Yeah, you're right. They all can be ugly. They all got potential to be ugly, but I personally don't think that we're going to see this score right here again this year. Well, Sunday. All right. But we'll see. All right. Okay. So bring back the slide. Keys to victory. All right. First one on the list for me is stop the run. Okay. We got to stop the run. Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne are both listed as running back 1 on their depth chart. Okay. I think the where's the piano? I you know what? I figured I'd do something different this time. I wanted to switch it up a little bit. The piano is it's in Canva somewhere. If you want it back, look, I'll put it on next week's slide. But first off, we got to stop the run. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, last year the average yardage that running backs got against us before they were even touched, not necessarily tackled, touched, I think it was like 3.5 to 4 yards down the field. Running backs made the average of 3.5 to 4 yards down the field before they were even touched by the Panthers defense. And that's why we were always in these third down and short situations as far as our defense goes. Okay. And, and I get Evero. He plays his own defense. He has his cornerbacks off because he doesn't want to risk them getting beat deep. But my thing is, you have J.C. Horn, who's a great cornerback. Okay. But we were in too many of those situations. Third down and 3, third down and 2, third down and 4, and I guess I keep calling the parking lot defense. And our defenders were way back, and they would just pitch and catch, little short out routes, first downs. Make one tackle miss, they go on even further. Okay, but hopefully the Panthers can put up, a run defense better than last year and keep the Jaguars and the rest of the teams we play in some third and long situations. We might be a lot better off. Okay, excuse me. We might be a lot better off. We have to get the opposing offense in third down and long. Okay, we did not do that a lot last year as a defense. Okay, we did not. The Panthers went out there and consistently let the other team get third down in short situations. Okay, sometimes we were able to stop them, but I'd probably say a good 85 to 90% of the time we were not, or we did not. So yeah. Let me see. Nada say, nobody in the media picked us to win. It's a bad time we win our first game, man. Yes, it's about time we win our first game. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Is the DeSoto headlight still be? Hey, somewhat. You'll see. Somewhat. The guy said there's a lot of media bias. They say our defense is last and we did nothing to improve it. And our offense will be average despite our top 12 running backs. The media still believes in Trevor Lawrence. And I think that is the deciding factor. Okay. Everybody believes in Trevor Lawrence. Nobody believes in Bryce Young. Because everybody is acting like the defense for Jacksonville was this top 15, top 10 defense, which it was not. Jacksonville's defense overall, if I'm not mistaken, was only a few spots better than Carolina's. Okay. So mind you, they have a decent defensive line. Okay. They got two good edge rushers. I really don't know much about the linebackers. And I'm thinking, I don't know if they signed my man from, they used to play with Atlanta. His name start with an O, if I'm not mistaken. And they do got him. They got a decent one. Okay. The secondary, I did a little bit of research on the secondary. I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. So that's yet to be seen. But it's not like Carolina's going up against this dominant defense. That was taking heads off last year. If that was the case, then the Jaguars wouldn't have been 4-13 and pick number, I think they picked number 4 until they traded up to get Travis Hunter. So we'll see. But and again, a lot of the season they did not have Trevor Lawrence as well. Mac Jones came in and played 10 games for the Jaguars. So we'll see. We'll see. But the media does not believe in us, and I mean, and to be honest with you, rightfully so. Most of our fan base does not believe in this team. Okay, I mean, now mind you, I believe in them, but in the same time, we still have to see it on the field. Me believing in them is one thing. You believing in them is one thing. You not believing in them is one thing. But we have to see what it is on the field. That's why I say, I can't really blame them. I can't really blame them until we see what we have done. As far as the offseason, until we see it pay dividends out on the field, that is the only way that they're going to be able to convince anybody that what they did since last season has improved this team. So we'll see. All right. Let me see. Hey, and shout out to Flame for Jesus for the $5 super chat again. Thank you, my friend. Said, I'm not putting high expectations on T-Mac. His first year, we will see how it goes. I still think we need the middle linebacker out of Alabama. Yeah, let me tell you. Yeah, that middle linebacker spot kind of concerns me a little bit too, but we'll get into that in a second here as well. Let me go back up. Carr says it's going to be a nice slugfest, 25-16. Bryce icing in the fourth quarter. Let me tell you. I'll get into that here in a second too, Nakar. I'll come back to your comment in a second here. Mr. Earl says Trevor Lawrence has not did anything, and he has been in the NFL 5 years. Well, I mean, he's got a playoff win. Okay, he did go to the playoffs one year. He's been injured the past couple years. He's got everything that everybody wants. He's got the size, he's got the arm. He definitely has the talent. Okay. Has he been able to put it together? I mean, he did that one season. Okay, like I said, they got to the playoffs. They did win a wild card game. I forgot who that wild card game was against. They did win a wild card game, but I can't sit here and say that he hasn't done anything. Okay, he's done something. He's done something. So we'll see. All right. Let me see. Native says, I don't believe they can run against us like last year. We didn't have Brown. Okay, now you are about the third or fourth person that I have heard say that today. Okay, and I will say this. All right, we had Derek Brown week 1 last year, and Alvin Kamara ran all over us, the Bourbon Street down to the waterfront to the casino and back. Okay, like I said, I keep saying this. We had Derek Brown. I know it was just one game. I know it was just one game. Okay. Hopefully, the additions that they made, plus Derek Brown coming back, will be the deciding factor of our run game, of our run defense being able to stop the opponent's run game. So we'll see. We'll see. But like I said, you about the third person I heard say that today, and I've said the same thing. Like we got everybody has to put it together. Okay. Derek Brown being back is great, but the rest of them jokers out there, they have got to play as well. Okay. Then it says, don't bogart the good shit in the car and pass it around. Oh God, y'all a trip. Hey, and I'm sorry, that was the super chat you just had, Flan, but you gave me another one. Thank you. Said Trevor has been to playoffs. That is something in the AFC. Now, if you're talking about the NFC, that may make me feel different. Yeah, I got you. And I just said that. You can't say Trevor hasn't done completely nothing. Okay, he is taking this team to the playoffs at one point in his career so far. So I do agree with you on that, Flame for Jesus. And again, thank you for the super chat, man. I appreciate you. Let me see. Charlotte Sports 84. What's going on with you? That playoff win was one and done based off of luck. Oh, okay, got you. Can anybody remember? Oh, the Chargers. Thank you, Mr. Evans. I appreciate that. Oh, the Chargers. That's right. Okay, got you. That was the team they beat, the Chargers. All right. Kevin, what's going on with you, man? How you doing there, sir? And Kevin, and thank you for the the $5 super chat, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you for the support as always. All right, and let me make sure I didn't miss any. Native says they don't have a good secondary. Okay, got you. And Kevin says Madden has the Jags winning. What does Madden know? What's going on, Mr. MC Web? CJ, time for talking is over. Time for the games. You got that right. Absolutely got that right. Said 99% of the fan don't believe in this team. I don't give a shit. I bleed processed blue. I got you, Mr. I got you. I got you. But yeah, I mean, and again, like I always say, I don't, knock anybody for having their own opinion. Okay. And, and to me, you can talk about what happened last year. Okay. And it did happen. The thing that gets me with some of our fan base is it's always the bad. Okay. And like I said, and I know that last year was nothing to write home about. We only won 5 games, and I get that. All right. But going down the stretch, the team did look decent, at least in most of those games. Okay, you think about it. All right. Okay, we Kansas City. All right, Bryce Young drives down the field, puts us up with 30 seconds left. The Tampa Bay game. Okay, the same thing. Before we went into overtime, Bryce drove us down the field, put us up with 30 seconds left. All right. And in the Eagles game, if XL would have caught that ball, I think we would have been up with about 45 seconds left, or however much time would have came off on the field goal. Okay, and the ensuing kickoff. Okay, so there were things to pick up on and be hopeful for. My issue with most of the fan base is just like everything shot to hell. There is no fixing it. You know what I mean? But like I said, I don't knock anybody for their opinion. I will look at you funny when you start talking nonsense. Okay, that's my whole thing. I don't knock you for an opinion, but I will give you that rock eyebrow when you start talking just dumb stuff. And I will say this: it's been a lot of people talking a lot of dumb stuff this offseason, and I'm just leaving it at that. All right, let me see. Oh, it's next that he didn't play the whole game. Talking about Trevor in that playoff game. I got you. Let me see. The Black Cats had better contain the edges. Yes, they damn sure should. What they need to. Yes. That one playoff win came against another team who ain't did anything in years. Hey, let me tell you, Harbaugh got them boys rocking and rolling like that. Well, we're gonna see here in about what 40 minutes. You know, you see that first game, CJ run the ball away from Brown. Okay, I got you. But still, he was out there, you know, and we still look bad. When two QBs that don't win anything play, one of them has to win. I got you. I'm not really worried about our offense, just the line depth and injuries, and also not worried about our defense besides Nick Scott and pass rush. I got you. I think we will have an uptick in our defense. I pray that we do. And like I've been saying, you know, I don't expect this defense to go from last in the league to top 10, you know, anything like that. If we could just be slightly below or slightly above average or even average, I think most of Panther Nation would take that, you know. So exactly, our fan base is doom and gloom sometimes. Yeah. Just Nick Scott bad said we're turning the corner this year. I got you. Flame for Jesus, thank you for another $5 super chat. We beat teams last year that haven't done anything in years. Matter of fact, none of them did anything in years. Hey, I got you. But in the grand scheme of things, you know what I mean? Winning is winning. And yes, you want to win against the teams that are better, have better records. But in the same time, you can't understate the importance of a win. You know, that mentality, you going out there and you're saying, hey, you know, we went out in the field, we put a game together and we came out victorious. Okay. That's the type of stuff. It's always, you know, we ain't beat anybody. And I get that. Okay, I get that. I understand that. We beat the Giants. We beat the Saints. Okay. We we beat the Cardinals, the Raiders, and the Falcons, that last game of the season. And what gets me about the last game of the season is that, you know, everybody thinks that the Falcons went out there and gave up because they found out Tampa Bay had won their game, so they weren't winning the division and they weren't in the playoffs. Okay. So until somebody gives me a written statement signed by Raheem Morris and his offensive and defensive coordinators that said, yes, the Atlanta Falcons from the 2024 season, in fact, gave up against the Carolina Panthers later, halfway through the game because we were not making the playoffs. When somebody brings that to me with those guys' names and signatures on it and, you know, stamped and whatever, you know, by the local notary or whatnot, I believe that when I get my hands on it. Okay. I will believe that when I see that document right there. Okay. I do not believe the Falcons went out there and gave up just because my thing is that's just like the Panthers going, you know, if the situation was reversed, you know, that's our rival team. Those are Falcons. Okay. We always want to beat Atlanta. You know, no matter if we were in the same position and we were going out there and we found out we weren't making the playoffs. Man, let me tell you, I would go out there and I would try my damnedest to wait for every last one of them to come out that stadium and try my best to kick all their asses if I found out, oh, we just gave up. Nah, bro. No. But like I said, you know, I don't necessarily believe that. But, you know, like I said, when I get that document in my hand, then I'll apologize to everybody. But Flame for Jesus, again, thank you for the $5 super chat. As always, I appreciate you, brother. All right, so we can lose all 17 games, and I'll still talk shit to all the other teams' fans. You got that right. Okay, so let's go on with the keys here. So next key, pressure Lawrence. Okay, the one thing this defense has to be able to do this year is get pressure on opposing quarterbacks. They cannot let the opposing quarterback sit in the pocket and sit there and dissect the defense and wait for their receivers to get open. Okay, excuse me. Look at Jalen Hurts last night, earlier on in the game. You know, those clean pockets he had while he was waiting to see if his receivers are going to get open, and then he took off running down the field. Okay, I said this before. I'll say it again until we do something about it. Baker Mayfield last year, Okay, in that game down in Tampa, Baker Mayfield went through all 5 of his reads and sat there and waited for his last one to get open and threw him a touchdown. All right, he was back there sending emails, ordering takeout. I'm sorry, DoorDash, all kind of stuff, and then decided to throw the ball. We have to get pressure on Trevor Lawrence. Okay, and I'm not saying we got to go out there and have a hand in his face every single play because that is highly unlikely. But we need to be able to put pressure on him from start to finish. Okay, we can't go out there and just let him get off to this hot start, throwing the ball, sitting back there, comfortable in the pocket. We have to be able to get pressure on him from the start. All right. Next one, we got to score early. Okay, in all of our wins, except for that Atlanta game. Okay, but the first one, it was the first 4. Well, except for the Atlanta game, except for the Raiders game. But in those other 3 wins, it was, we kind of going back and forth throughout the game, and it's like, all right, cool. Well, we wait until the end of the game and then want to rally, get ahead, end of the game, and then we got to depend on this defense. Okay. My thing is, don't let this defense get out there playing all game, get tired, and then you got to depend on them every game, to make one stop. Okay. And the thing is, we had 3 and outs. Okay. Now we had more 3 and outs earlier in the season than we did going later on into last season. But even still, though, the defense was not equipped at all to do much of anything. So my thing is, we have to go out there and score points early. And along with my next key to victory, we got to score early and we got to sustain drives. All right. We got to put drives on the board, 8, 9 play drives, 60, 70, 80 yards. Okay. Because I do feel like that this offense is going to have to carry this defense this year. Okay. If the offense would have been able to carry the defense, more last year, I think we would have won more games. Okay. But, just say that this defense is better, but maybe it's not quite there. Maybe they're just slightly better. This offense is going to have to go out there and put points on the board. And I would much rather see them get off to good starts than wait until the 3rd quarter and on in the 4th to remember they know how to play football and then want to rally. Like every game that we win should not have to be one where we're coming back in the 4th quarter to take the lead and then hoping that the defense can hold the other team at bay and then we win the game. All of our games should not be like that. I want to see our offense go out there, put points on the board early, give this defense a lead to work with. You know what I mean? Make it so that the other teams are not out there, in the 2nd and 3rd quarter, calling 3 and 4 running plays in a row, and getting first downs. You know what I mean? Put the other team in a position where they got to go out there and they got to sling the ball on every play because they don't have time to sit there and try to get their run game going. Like they got to put points on the board quick, and then hopefully our defense can shut that down as well. So that's why I say we need to score early and we need to sustain drives. I would love to see more big plays out of this offense this year. If we go out there and get a 2-play 70-yard drive, and one of the plays is a 60-yard touchdown or something through the air, on the ground, whatever. I'm not going to turn my nose up at that at all. But I would like to see the Panthers go out there and make some long drives, like I said, and keep our defense off the field, okay, as much as possible. All right. And let me get back to some comments here. Let me catch up. Carr said they keep saying Liam Cohen blew out Evero's defense twice last year. The Bucks did that. I don't put that on Cohen. Well, yeah, but I mean, like I said, he had Baker Mayfield last year. Mind you, he has Trevor Lawrence, but this is a different team. Okay, and we still got to see what he is going to be able to do with this squad. Different talent across the board. From the Jaguars and the Bucks. But I get what you're saying, Nicole. Let me see. Flame says, I still love winning, CJ. I was on the We Won train. I got you, Flame. I got you, big dog. Earl says, Flame, I will always pull my team up. Say I want all the smoke. With average defense, we can win 9 games. Now that I agree. If we can be an average defense, I think we can get 9 games out of the season. I really do. Really, really do. But not an average defense and that offense continuing how they ended last season, continuing that from the jump on Sunday. I agree with you on that one, Nader. Mr. Hunky Dory, I'm neither high or low. I'm at the point that I have to see them play Sunday before I can make my objective statement or opinions. Facts, big facts. I agree. I agree. Let me see. Flame said no. Nader Bryce has to prove drastically for that. He had good backup numbers in every win but Atlanta. Okay, now Flame, I will say this. Okay, like I said, at the end of the day, it was a W. Okay, not saying that we don't want Bryce to go out there and have better numbers. We all do. We all do. But that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. At the end of the day, it was a W. And hopefully they will be able to take that and improve on it. They did somewhat last year. Hopefully they can take that as a whole and improve on it this year. Yeah. But, I ain't gonna say he had backup numbers in all of them. Well, hold on, let me see. Atlanta, he had close to 300. I can't remember what he had in the. Hold on, let me see the schedule here. Oh shoot, last year I'll tell you here in 1 second. Okay, so Arizona. Okay, he had 158. Arizona. Chuba rushed for 152. Okay, so the run game was going that game. But yes, 158 yards. Yeah, I got you. Let me see. Okay, 126 versus New York, 171 versus New Orleans. Okay, all right. I give you that, Flame. I give you that. Yeah, he did not have great numbers, in those wins. But again, they were still dubs, and I'll take them. All right. Rock says, "Screw the Falcons." I actually gave Bryce 2 good games last year. He doubled the first year. Ordering takeout, showing your age, sir. Hey, I'm 43, dog. That's what we used to call it, takeout. Hey, yeah, you know. It's showing your age. Yeah, no, I feel it too. I feel it. Let me tell you. Got home yesterday, and me and my son started fighting in the living room, right? Just kind of horse playing around. And he thought he was gonna get me, so he decided to jump on me. And then so I picked him up and threw him on the couch. My mother-in-law was, stop it. The dog was barking at me and all kind of stuff. And I was like, see there, boy. I say, you got to man up, boy. I say, you better get your weight and your strength up when you come, mess with your daddy like that. Well, let me tell you, I went upstairs. I was sweating from the time I got upstairs. I was upstairs probably about maybe 20 minutes. Came back out here outside and was still sweating. I said, so yeah, I'm getting up there. Then they said, do you think we should put JC on their second receiver and double Hunter? Well, I think Hunter is going to be their second receiver, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's oh God, what is there? I swear I keep forgetting. No, Brian Thomas Jr. I think it's gonna be Brian Thomas Jr., then Hunter and De'Ami Brown. To be honest with you, this is what I want to see happen. I would love to see if JC could travel with Brian Thomas Jr. and then maybe Evero gets creative. Like I said, I don't think he would have to excuse me. I don't think he would have to double Hunter all the time. But in situations where it's necessary, I would love to see it. But I do think there need to be some double teams, like I said, in certain situations down the distance or whatnot. Let JC travel. But I don't think that's going to happen. So we'll see. We'll see. But I don't want to say this. I don't want to seem smug with it. Brian Thomas Jr., great wide receiver. Travis Hunter, great defensive back, good wide receiver in college. I think he's going to have a bit of a transition period in the NFL. Okay. And maybe that's why they put him as a number 2 wide receiver and a backup cornerback. But we'll see. Hopefully that transition period is will come against us and we can go ahead and take advantage of it while he's getting used to the NFL. But we shall see. We shall see. But like I said, with the second key to victory here, we can get pressure on Trevor Lawrence, and the first one stopped the run. Maybe we limit the opportunities that Hunter has. Brian Thomas Jr. is probably, he's gonna get his opportunities. Okay, but it just depends on who's covering him at the time. Like I said, I don't think Evero is going to change his scheme, his game plan. I don't think he's going to let J.C. Horn travel wherever Brian Thomas Jr. goes. But we'll see. Flame for G, thank you for another super chat, $5. Say, I don't like Bryce CJ. Yeah, I know, big dog. I still enjoy winning though. I don't care who the QB is if we are winning. I agree. I completely agree with that. Let me tell you, if oh God, if Jimmy Clausen, they signed Jimmy Clausen tomorrow and said, you know what, he's gonna go out there and start, I would be scratching my head and be like, why God, what are they doing? But as soon as that whistle blows at 1:00. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, it's gonna be go Jimmy Clausen. I'm gonna want him to go out there and do great. But I got you, Flame. I completely agree, and thank you for the support, man. Tip Drill Will, what's going on with you with $2 super chat, man? Appreciate you, big dog. Said, my man, it's week 1. It definitely is. Definitely is. Yes, sir. Hey, appreciate the super chat, big dog. Oh, and Will, I gotta send you a message, man. I gotta see which section you sit at. I think we're close. As far as what we sitting at for the games, okay? Because I plan on going to just about all of the home games this year. But I'll send you a message, man. All right, appreciate the super chat, big dog. Let me see. Aziz Ojulari, outside linebacker, 13, had Dak running last night, 5 pressures. I want to see some pressure from our guys. Mix the blitzes up, keep the O-line guessing, and make rapid adjustments on the sideline. Facts. Big facts, Mr. Huggy Dory. I agree. I want to see the same thing. The exact same thing. Sorry. Jalen Hurts threw 19 for 23 for 100 yards, 100-something yards, and you're not going to find the Eagle fan talking down on him. This fan base got to get behind the team. Being mad at the QB is 5'10" isn't doing anything. I agree. I completely agree. So I was using my old man strength. It's not old man strength. I've been strong all my life. Okay, but I appreciate you, dear. He said they sure did last year in the car. Yep. Travis Hunter is not about to do anything. Brian Thomas Jr. needs to be the focus. Hunter isn't the threat. And I feel you in the car, but now I do agree. Brian Thomas Jr. is the focus, but you don't want to let Travis Hunter just dink and dunk you down the field. You don't want to focus on one person, and then kind of like a few years ago when we played Pittsburgh, and I can't remember. Oh goodness. Oh no, this is when Steve Wilkes was still here. Okay, and I'll never forget this because who was it? Oh goodness, was it Pickens? If I'm not mistaken, came out the game hot. Okay, and they made adjustments. All right, shut Pickens down for the rest of the game. And you know who killed us the rest of that game? Deontay Johnson. You know what I mean? So, like I said, we've seen that before here in Carolina. I hope it's not something that they, like I said, Brian Thomas Jr. does need to be the focus. And like I said, I hope that JC will be able to travel with him wherever he goes. I doubt that's going to happen. But I do hope they have a plan. All right? They should. They getting paid a lot of money not to. Yeah. Those Philadelphia fans wanted him gone after our game. Lord, hey, let me tell you, you can't please a Philly fan. I got a cousin up there. Shout out to my cousin Frank. Love to see you pick 6 in the first half. Yes, for us, yes. Said we better not get torched by Travis Hunter. I feel you. But y'all know how I am on this channel. I don't like to be absolute in things I say. Because my motto is you never know. I agree with you. I agree with you, Commander. We better not. But my thing is, I just hope that they don't do anything and like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to stick with it. My thing is that they need to be able to adjust. But don't sit here and act like, Travis Hunter is just going to go out there and not do nothing because he's Travis Hunter. That's all I'm saying. The Jimmy Clausen season was the first and only time I started watching the Panthers every week. I got you with. Oh, so BM was got to catch you at the Atlanta game. Yeah, man. Oh yeah, I'll be there. I will be there Atlanta game on the 21st. Yeah, with all my Panther gear on, ready to go, hollering and screaming. Native says, "Flame for Jesus. Would you change your mind about Bryce if he has 4 TDs Sunday?" You know what? Hold on. Flame said, "I have to see it to believe it. Atlanta is our biggest rival. I believe anything can happen in those 4 games. I got you. I got you. Let me tell you, Bryce go out there, and my thing is, should if Bryce go out there and throw 3 touchdowns, my thing is, hopefully we get enough from the running game. Maybe Chuba or Rico can run another one in. If we go out there and put up 28 points against the Jaguars, I hope our defense will be able to do enough to to make that 28 points turn into a win for us. Okay, because the thing is, hell, if we would put up 28 points a game last year, shit, the defense would have gave up 35. Yeah, you know what I mean? But hey, we'll see. B. Amy said Pickens. Yeah, he did in that game to start off. He was killing us. And let me tell you, they shut Pickens down, and then we couldn't stop Deontay. Yeah, I was mad because I thought we was gonna win that game, and I thought we was gonna win the next one with Tampa, and we were going to the playoffs. But yeah, yep. SC Pace. If Trevor torches us, I'm already going to have thoughts of Evero. Yeah, a lot of us are. Yeah. Let me see. This is the final year of Evero's contract. Be easy on the man that only gets lateral moves on his defense. And I agree with you on that, Flame. I agree. But like I said too, you still want to see. I would love to see in-game adjustments. Okay, this is just in my opinion. If anybody else has a thought on this, please put it in the chat. It seems, and I know Evero has not had the talent to work with that he needs. Okay, I've heard that on a lot of podcasts, and I do agree. I do agree. But at the same time, he brought back Nick Scott. You know what I mean? And it's like he's stuck on this. I got to bring in these people, that know my defense. Okay, and I'm just like, what, dude? You can't bring in some more talented people and teach the defense to them. Because at some point, all these people that you keep bringing in that already know your defense, they had to be taught this defense. It seems like we keep bringing. Oh, they know the calls, they know the signals. Well, damn it, teach it to somebody else. So that's my thought on that. Let's see. Hunter is going to play cornerback also. That's the time T-Mac will torch him. I hope so. I hope so. Ms. Ungidor said our high average score last year was 17. We got to be able to do more than 17. 4 TDs would have us fans dancing. Yes, they would. Yeah. It's the 3rd year. Why are we still needling people who know know the defense? I feel you. I feel you. We haven't talked about we haven't talked about Hunter Renfrow. I think it's gonna be interesting. I think it's gonna be real interesting. I should have put him up here as one of these keys as well. I hope that he can go out there and be that. I think every quarterback has that reliable receiver that they look for in certain situations. I hope Hunter Renfrow can be that for Bryce, but at the same time, I hope that Bryce is in a position now where it's just like, okay, cool. Because I heard somebody the other day say that as soon as Bryce snapped the ball, he always looked straight at Adam Thielen, and I'm sitting there like, yeah, nah, nah. Like I get that, Adam Thielen came here, he had 1,000 yards the first season, missed some games, had 600 yards last year. But for somebody to say that, Bryce hiked the ball in every play, the first person he looked at was Adam Thielen. Like, nah, come on, dog. Like that's just you being frustrated and talking all kind of jibber jabber. But no. But my thing is, I do hope that Bryce is able to open up the offense more, throw the ball down the field more. But when the situation presents itself, Hunter Renfrow can go out there and get open. I hope Bryce can find him. Okay, but Now, Dave was saying that Dave Canales was saying that I think his physical conditioning had a little bit to do with why they initially cut him. He said he had highs and lows as far as that. I'm hoping that he gets that resolved soon. I don't know if he's gonna get all that resolved by week 1. You know what I mean? But and at the same time, Renfro being out there, we still got T Mac, we got Leggett, we got David Moore, Bryson Tremaine. He was talked about all off season in camp, and Jimmy Horn. Our 6th-round pick. So I think that the Panthers do have a lot of options out there, but we'll see. I don't know if it's going to be a situation where Hunter Renfro plays, every offensive snap this game, but the snaps that he is out there, I hope they're meaningful, and productive. So we'll see. There's been a lot of hype about Hunter Renfro all off season. A lot of people were very excited for it. A lot of people did not want him here at all, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, hold on a second. Flame said not much. Data said he will not play against T Mac or Leggett. Oh, he's talking about Travis Hunter. Yeah. Rock Jones says as much shit as I've talked about Nick Scott, I hope he has the pick to seal the win. Hey, you and me both. You and me both. He is number 4 in the cornerback room. Travis will only play in some nickel or dime situations. Okay, got you, Flame. Got you. On the card say he's the starting slot. Okay. He says, "Oh, never mind." Said, "Thought we talking about Renfro." Yeah, Renfro is going to be starting slot wide receiver Sunday. Yes, yeah. We have good receivers and tight ends. Just worry about left tackle. Yeah, and like I said earlier, I hope when the situation presents itself, Canales and the Izzik will, be smart enough to say, okay, you know what, we need some help. We need to make sure we give them some help on this, especially them defensive ends or outside linebackers. Start getting off the ball early in the game. Like I said, adjustments. All right. I said they have changed it. Then they had him as the 4. Talking about Travis Hunter. All right. And my last key to victory is contain Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. Okay. And like I said, I don't want everybody to just, kind of push Travis Hunter off to the side. If the Panthers go out there and don't do what they supposed to do, he could be a big factor in this game. Brian Thomas Jr., I think he's going to get his, but to what extent can the Panthers limit him going out there and getting his yardage and receptions? That's the key for me in this one. Can we not go out there and let him just be catching the ball all down the field the entire game? Okay. Brian Thomas Jr. is a weapon. All right. And I just hope that the Panthers are prepared for it. All right. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay. So next slide here. All right. Enemy spotlight and dig it. You asked about the flashlight. It's kind of still there. It's off screen, but it is shining down on the 50-yard line. Okay. So enemy spotlight. Now I know they got Trevor Lawrence. Okay. They have Brian Thomas Jr. You got Travis Hunter. But my thing right now, okay, is for the Panthers to go out there and that run defense to get going. Okay. Run defense has to get going. We have to stop these two from having a good day. We have to put that Jacksonville offense in 3rd and long situations. Okay. Like I said last year, a lot of our 3rd and short situations came from giving up 4 or 5-yard runs, on 1st down. Okay. You get a 4-yard run here, 3-yard run here. What is that? 3rd and 3. Or 4 or 5-yard run and a 4-yard run. That's 3rd and 1. We won a lot of those situations last year. So, the first game of the season, can this run defense go out there and hopefully put a stop, but if not put a stop, heavily limit the run game for the Jacksonville Jaguars? And like I said, I heard somebody say earlier, well, ETN and Bigsby, because if I'm not mistaken, Bigsby had 766 yards last season. ETN had 558. But like I said, other teams' running backs came into Carolina and had damn good games all season long. They would go out there and get 50, 60 yards the game before and the game after and come into Carolina 120, 130. Who was it? Tyrone, what's a man named Tracy from the Giants had like 130 yards. Bucky Irvin had 150 one game, another 100 in the other game. Hell, Alvin Kamara had 100 and something. You know what I mean? And then and remember when we went to Vegas, okay? And that's why I was saying about hoping that Bryson would come out there and score early. Andy Dalton went out there. They got points on the board early, and the defense was able to go out there and hold off, the Raiders, okay? Even though they weren't playing with a fully stacked deck, last year, but just kind of using that as sort of an example, all right? But these two guys right here, are my enemy spotlight. If we can limit their run game, I think it would do wonders for Evero and this defense. If we can limit these easy first to second downs leading to short yardage third downs, I think that would do wonders for our defense. Okay, so probably not who you thought that would be on my enemy spotlight. I'm sure it probably thought it would be like Brian Thomas Jr. or Trevor Lawrence, which, they are important factors that the Panthers will have to stop. But I'm looking first and foremost to see how we're going to do against the run. Because I guarantee you, they are going to come out here and they're going to be like, you know what? Let's just see if this run defense is as ass as it was last year. I know if I was the offensive coordinator, let me tell you, my first 4 plays would be run. So, hey, we'll see. Thank you, Flame, for another super chat. He said we fixed all the broken playoff teams last year. I got you. Oh, thank you again for the 5 super chat, man. I appreciate you. Let me go back to some comments here. Carter said, I got Bryce over 215 yards, so if you don't get that, he'll be buying me lunch on Monday. Say, yep, just as soon as Coco went out, Canales didn't trust the rest. Okay. Panther Dog, what's going on with you? Said late, but wanted to stop by and say, hey, we'll go back and watch the replay. Hey, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. Nita says, do you know if Wyndham is still with us? If I'm not mistaken, he is on the practice squad, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I think he's on the practice squad. Pace said, why isn't Evero enemy spotlight? I had him on the enemy spotlight. The last I think the last preview for the Falcons game last year. If I'm not mistaken, I had him on the enemy spotlight because I had to delete that slide to put this on here. But I'm giving some slack this first game. We come out there and looking as bad as we did last year throughout the whole season. Game 1, SC Pace, I will put him up there just for you in week 2's preview. He said, LOL at the flashlight. Cam at the game right now getting the crowd hype. Okay, cool. Well, look, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here in a few minutes. We get everybody so we can watch this game here. Flame said, Sam Roberts got signed off the practice squad. I forgot who signed him. Oh, gosh. What was that number? He was 74 or 75 this preseason. Sunky Dory said, let us hope the Reaper shows up in Jacksonville. Man, let me tell you, I hope so. Rock says, as Teddy Tone Riley would say, this game will be won in the trenches. You got that right. You absolutely got that right. I will be looking, see how we play in the trenches first and foremost. All right, but I agree. Okay, so going from the enemy spotlight to the Panthers spotlight. Okay, and this one is obvious. Bryce Young, can he start this season strong as he ended last season? Okay, and I know a lot of people don't feel like he really ended the season strong, but my thing is the way that he went out there and played. Okay, it didn't show up in godly numbers those last 10 games of the season, but the one thing I noticed, okay, and the first that first win that he got in the Giants game, what I noticed first and foremost in that game, he looked like he was comfortable in the pocket. Okay, in those first 2 games, it's like Bryce hiked the ball and he was like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Oh shit, gotta go. He was never comfortable in the pocket, and he was panicking in clean pockets. Clean pockets. The offensive line was out there doing their thing from the jump, and this man right here in the first 2 games was panicking. Like somebody was on his shoulder and he had to run every time. He got benched when he came back in. Like I said, that's one of the first thing I know. Now he played the Denver game. Okay, looked a little more comfortable when they went overseas to Germany and played that Giants game. I saw him. And it was the first quarter, and I saw him actually step up into the pocket. Okay, he slid to his right, stepped up about 2 or 3 times, threw the ball down the field for a completion. Okay, he got better at, okay, cool. Let me sit in this pocket and let me scan the field, look for my receivers. But when it was time, when the shit hit the fan, okay, cool. Now I got to go. Before it was hike the ball, oh crap, I gotta run. And my thing is, and you're sitting there and your offensive linemen are holding their blocks and nobody near you and you're panicking. Okay, so that's why I say things like that look better down the stretch last year. Can he continue that? Okay, he was looking down the field. He was finding receivers. He was on the run, like in the Philly game. In that last drive where he was in the end zone. The line broke down a little bit. He had to improvise, make a play. Old boy ripped his jersey. He found XL. For the first down. It was his decision making. Okay, he was throwing the football down the field a little more. I know a lot of people will probably disagree with me with that one. Okay, but he was, because I know there's this big discussion about big time throws, and I think it's I don't know if it's a PFF stat or not, but anything over 20 yards, I guess it's considered a big time throw or whatever. And I think a lot of people are associating big time throws with distance, like the throws that Dak and Jalen Hurts were making last night, like the one that Dotson caught for Hurts and the one that CeeDee Lamb dropped for Dallas. Big time throws. They were throwing the ball 40, 50 yards down the field. And Bryce did have a couple of those. Okay. There was the one that Adam Thielen down in Tampa Bay when he threw that touchdown. Not saying that he was out there and had all these, big yardage throws, because he didn't have a whole lot of them. All right. But hopefully with the raw receiver group that we have this year, hopefully they'll be able to stretch the field out even more. Okay. And I think that person that's going to stretch the field out for the Panthers this year is going to be XL. Okay. I think you will see XL open down the field a lot more often this year, and I think Bryce will get him the ball and XL will catch it. That's my thought so far. But like Flame for Jesus said, we got to see it. Pen got to meet the paper, and I agree with you. Okay. But can he come? Can we get out here in these games this year? Can Bryce lead us down the field on drives early in the game? Okay. Can he go out there and not put us in these 3 and outs earlier in the game? All right. Can we start putting points up early? Can we not wait until the fourth quarter and always have to come back in our games to try and get victories? Okay. Can he go out there, sustain these drives, and keep the defense nice and fresh on the sideline? Okay. Can he go out there and do that? We saw signs of that down the stretch last year. Okay. Can he put that all together and make it into a winning formula for the Carolina Panthers this season? Okay, so that is what we have to be able to see from Bryce Young this season for a lot of us to feel like, okay, cool. You know what? We got something. All right. Okay, so that is my spotlight on Bryce Young. All right. Now, prediction. Okay. Let me know what y'all predictions are in the chat real quick. I'm going to before I tell you mine, I'm going to go back and put the comment that Nader had up. And he said, DJ Moore had 788 yards the first season with us. Do you think T-Mac can get that? Yes, I do. I think T-Mac will eclipse that, okay? I think T-Mac will probably be around, if not 1,000 yards, he will probably be close to it, all right? And I say that because Bryce is going to be able to put the ball in the air and let T-Mac go and get it, okay? And then I also think that with the receivers that we have on this team, it's not like they're going to be able to just focus on T-Mac and say, okay, if we shut T-Mac down, then we good. Okay, we have Xavier Legette, we have David Moore, we have Hunter Renfrow, we have Jimmy Horn, Bryson Tremaine. Okay, so we have talent in the wide receiver room. And like I said, I think if Canales can go out there and get creative, with his plays and play calling and be able to utilize these guys to the best of their ability and his ability as a play caller, I don't think it's going to be one receiver that you're going to be able to focus on for the Panthers and be like, all right, bet we're gonna shut them down and they ain't gonna be good. Even like the past couple years, Adam Thielen, was our best receiver, but he still went out there and he still got his. You know what I mean? And I think we have a lot more talent in that wide receiver room than we've had in the past couple years. So I do think T Mac can do that. I think he can get that at least, but I do think he will exceed that 788 yards. So that is my opinion on that. All right. Let me see. Okay, it needs to be. I got you. Vegas line for Bryce is 215 on Sundays. I like over. I do too. Earl said, "You good, CJ? Keep going." Now I got you, but look, I done about ran out of things to say right now. SC Pace 23-14 Carolina. All right. SC Panthers boy 34-21 Carolina. Boy, I would love to see that one. Oh, I love to see that one. Native 27-24. Let me say, I would take it, but I do not want to see. I do not want to have no close game to start this season. I really want the Panthers to go out there and win by at least 10 to 14 points. I really do. I do not want to see them win by a field goal, but I will take it. Okay, I'll definitely take it. Panther Dog said 28-24 Panthers. Let me see. Close one, Nate. I got you. Jacksonville kicker really good, unfortunately. Man, let me tell you, what did he hit? In the preseason, was it a 70-yarder? Yeah, that fool got a leg on him. But the thing is, can he do that consistently? Can he do that consistently? That's the question. Mr. Earl says 21-14. Okay, bet. Okay, so my prediction for the game on Sunday: Panthers win 27-17. Okay, 27. So that's a 10-point victory. Kind of in my 10 to 14 point range. So I have the Panthers winning 27 to 17. And like I said, if the things I talked about, my keys to victory, if they can all go out there and be made to be true, or the Panthers can go out there and make it happen, I do think we got a good chance of putting these type of numbers on the board. That's 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals right there. I do think that is more than feasible against this Jacksonville Jaguars defense. If our offensive line can go out there and show and prove, we can run the ball. Like I said, if Bryce can get out there and get the ball rolling early, I don't think this is that far-fetched. Okay? But again, like Frankfurt just said, we got to see it. So hopefully we do. All right? I changed my mind, 38-10 Panthers. But now that would be lovely. That would be lovely. Let me tell you, what would be good? If we beat them 26-0 like they beat us the last time we were down there. Now that would be funny. I would laugh at that all day. Trevor Lawrence, a.k.a. Jar Jar Binks, in for a rough game. Keep pounding. He called that man Jar Jar Binks. That is hilarious. Oh, that is funny. Now I can't unsee that. He got me Jar Jar Binks. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, 70 yards. I thought it was 70. Okay, gotcha. All right, y'all. But that is me rambling, the end of me rambling on for the night. I appreciate all the love and support. Thank you to everybody that sent up a word of prayer for my good buddy Rodney, aka Jug. Again, if y'all missed it, my good friend passed probably about an hour or so after I got off the live last week, and I put a picture up of him to start the live, and I'm telling you, this was a tough one for me. But again, thank everybody for the prayers and the condolence for him and his family. And again, just thank you. All right. But yeah, y'all. So that has been another live. Hey, and I will say this too. Let me know. Okay, y'all can let me know on Twitter or in the comments here or whatever. Are any of y'all interested in watching the game live with me? Okay. I can do a stream on YouTube. Now, mind you, it won't be public. It'll probably have to be like an unlisted live, but I can send everybody the link. It won't be anything I post, but we can watch the game together. If y'all interested in that, let me know, okay? Because I think what I'm going to do here is test it out on this Chiefs game and see if it will actually work. And if it does, I'll let y'all know. But if the interest is there, if that's something y'all want to do, if we don't do it this week, maybe we can set it up for next week. But let me know if y'all want to watch the game with me. I'll have it up on the screen, and then we can laugh and joke, and like I said, we won't be live in front of the whole internet, so we can we can really get ignorant and talk our shit, okay? But yeah. But again, as always, I appreciate everybody. Appreciate the love and support. On your way out, if you haven't already, on whatever platform you're watching this on, please hit the like button, follow, subscribe, wherever you at. I appreciate all the love and support. You can catch me on all social media at ArmchairGMCJ. Okay. Again, big shout out to Flame for Jesus for the 20 gifted memberships, all the super chats, man. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you to Kevin. Thank you to Will for the super chat. Hold on, let me make sure I don't forget anybody here since I started doing this. Let me see. Flame, Kevin, Will. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Thank y'all for all the memberships, the super chats. I greatly appreciate you. Okay. And as always, Panther Nation, I'm gonna leave y'all with 3 things. Number 1, y'all be good. Number 2, y'all be safe. And number 3, as always, Panther Nation, keep pounding, man. Hopefully I see y'all after the game with a W. All right.